Okay, so welcome everybody. I'm super excited about doing this Zoom. A lot of you guys have requested that we do just an updated, fresh, comprehensive, all things posting Zoom. Whenever we had our bi-weekly Diamonds and Above Zoom a couple weeks ago, that was actually one thing that was unanimously requested across the board. And so I'm super excited just to do an updated one of these. It's been a while. So if you are watching this and you have watched the Instagram training, that is going to go hand in hand with this. You can take everything that you learned from that Zoom that's on my YouTube channel with this one. But this one is going to be a lot more concentrated and focused just on posting for both platforms. So I'm going to go ahead and share my phone screen with you guys. Let me see if I can get this. Hold on. Okay, can everyone see my screen? Someone not? Okay, Heather said yes, cool. Okay, so I'm gonna go over a couple just basic things with you guys, and then we will get into more of the meat and potatoes. So the Instagram Zoom went over a lot of things specifically with just Instagram, so I don't want it to be super repetitive, although some of it will, but I wanna go over, before we get started, with what's applicable to both platforms with Facebook in particular. So Facebook obviously has some features that Instagram doesn't have. And so I want to go over some of those things with you guys. Okay, so I'm going to go down to the colored backgrounds. Okay, so if you follow me on Facebook, you see that I do quotes pretty frequently. This is kind of just my first post of the day usually. And I always do them on a colored background. So this is the number one thing I wanted to get started with, is whenever you start getting in a good posting routine, you want to have something that you consistently stick to. So you want to have, like, maybe you start the day with something funny, or maybe you start the day with something super inspiring. For me, I find it really simple to start the day with an inspiring quote, because I'm doing self-development every morning anyways. And so this is a really simple first post of the day. So if that is the route that you take, you want to do something on one of Facebook's features, which the colored backgrounds are perfect. Facebook rewards you for using their features. And so what that means is they will show your post to more people anytime you use their features. So you guys will see, I was watching Elevation Church on Sunday. I use their feature of watching Elevation Church. That's one of Facebook's features whenever you do the watching. And then I use their feature of the colored background. So this is a more effective post than me like making my own graphic and just posting it. Does that make sense? So I'm gonna show you guys how to do that. I'm sure most of you know, but you would literally just go to make a post. You would go to make a post like this, and then you would type your quote. Obviously this isn't actually a quote, but just bear with me. So then you would click right here, and then you would select which colored background you want. I like to go for similar colors that go with my brand. So I usually will pick one of the pinks or the purples. Every now and then maybe a black, but I pretty much don't do the design ones. That's not that there's anything wrong. You just want to kind of have a consistent flow to your feed. So for me, it's the solid colors. Just one of these. Something like that. Does that make sense? But you can pick any one that you want. And then after you do that, you want to tag, if you're married, tag your spouse. Anytime you tag your spouse, that gets seen by their friends too. I cannot even tell you guys, and we'll get into this more deeply with product posts and business posts here in a minute, but how many of Zach's friends have signed as a customer or signed as a distributor that I was not friends with on Facebook, but they see the post because I tagged Zach in it. So if you are married or have a significant other, tag them. So I always just go and tag Zach. And then you want to use one of these features under feeling and activity. This is huge because, again, Facebook rewards you for using their features. So usually I will do, when I do a quote, I'll do something like feeling truthful. You can type your own. It doesn't have to be one that's already there. So I love typing my own. I like using truthful, relentless, things like that. You can pick which emoji you want. For Sunday's quote, when I said watching elevation, instead of feelings, you just go to activities. You can use any of these too. But again, anytime you use Facebook's feature, your post will be seen more. So don't neglect this part of your post. Okay. So what I like to do is I like to start my day off with an inspirational quote. I'm going to go down a little bit further. And then I like to go into a lifestyle post after that. So, all right, let's go here. So you guys will see here, in the morning, I did an inspirational quote, and then I went right into just a picture of Adeline. This didn't have anything to do with the business, didn't have anything to do with the products, but anytime you can show people your life, this is going to just build your influence on social media, because people want to see you, they want to get to know you. And you guys have heard it said 1,000 times, people buy people, they don't buy products. They buy people before they buy a business. And so the more you can let people into your life, the better. And so anytime you have an opportunity to do just something exciting that you're showing about your life, or just letting people see a peep into your day, that's going to be so effective. So for me, this worked out perfectly. My mother-in-law just sent Adeline her birthday gift. So that's an example of a lifestyle post. And then transitioning, I like to do a product post. So this just happened to be a day I did my own personal before and after. You can obviously use, any other before and afters. It doesn't have to just be your own, but this just happened to be a day I did mine. So here's where I kind of want to give just some really specific tips on. One thing you'll notice about any of my posts, whether it's lifestyle or whether it's product, is the spacing. So do you guys see how it's not just one paragraph, there's spacing? So even the one with Adeline, I had spacing in between the sentences. The more spacing you put, the more people will actually stop to read what you have to say. So instead of just doing like one big block, make sure you're separating it and making it really easy on the eyes. Putting applicable emojis in, not too many emojis, but putting in just a good amount of emojis in, like you see I have here. Also, it makes it easier on the eyes. It makes people want to stop to read, because the emojis and the colors in them break up the words. And so again, it draws people in more. So you'll notice I always use a few emojis. And then lastly, having a call to action when it's a product post or a business post, having a call to action at the end is huge. So you'll see at the end, I said, if you're interested in some info on what has helped me keep things simple and easy to actually stick to as a busy mom of 5, drop an emoji and I'll send it your way. So by saying drop an emoji, I'm giving my audience an easy way to contact me. They don't have to think about what to say. They can literally just comment an emoji if they're interested, and then I can message them from there. But you always want to have some call to action at the end, and we'll get into more calls of action here in a little bit. But having a call to action at the end, having that appropriate spacing so it's easy on the eyes. And then the other thing is just when it's a product post or a business post, especially for product posts, you want that opening line to be something that catches people's attention and makes them stop scrolling and read what you have to say. So you, for example, like for this one said, oh, the difference 8 months can make. Because then people are like, what is she talking about? What happened in 8 months? So make sure that whenever you do a product post, you do something like that. I also like to do things like if it's maybe just a generic before and after, it's not of me, it's of someone else, but it was for coffee and greens. I'll put fat burning coffee and greens does it again, all caps, because people are like, what is she talking about? What is this fat burning coffee? So anything you could, first line, people stop scrolling, is to ensure that they read the rest of the post. So you want that first line to stand alone. You don't want it to be a part of the rest of the paragraphs, and you want it to be eye-catching. As we're going, if anyone has any questions, put them in the chat. Let me make sure I pull the chat up. Hold on one second. There we go. Okay, cool. I don't see anything, but as we're going, please feel free to drop questions in the chat. Okay, and then the next post you guys will see, I have a business post. So I make sure that I do lifestyle posts every day, product posts every day, inspirational quotes, and then business posts. Business posts is just anything where you're plugging the opportunity. It can be longer. It can be something where you really just share your heart and you share your story in depth with your audience. It can be something a little bit shorter. This is actually one of my shorter business posts, but I'm just going to read this one briefly. I just said summertime's always an adventure over here. I'm so thankful that because I work off my smartphone, I'm able to spend the entire summer with them, taking my work with me on the go wherever we go. And then I just went into a few little things about the rest of the day. And then at the end, again, call to action. Don't wait for life to just get better. Take a chance on you and make it better. Message me or text change to, and then I give my phone number. So if you guys follow me, you know that I do this on every single business post, and I'm going to say it. I've said it on lots of Zooms, and I'm just going to go ahead and say it again. Putting your phone number is hands down so worth it. I wish I could just say it like a million times to communicate it clearly, but I'll just say it a couple times. But it is hands down how I sign every single distributor. Anytime I sign a distributor, they text me the word that I put at the bottom of my post. They text me opportunity, text me change, whatever word I put. I rarely have people that just send a message out of the blue, like talking. They always go with the one word. And so kind of like dropping the emoji on the product post, this is giving them a really easy way to reach out to you without having to think about what to say, without having to be vulnerable and tell you their story. This is a way that they can just reach out and get information in return. And so I have found that this just draws people in so much more than saying message me, because here's the thing, they may not know what to message you. They may not even want to message you. Sometimes people don't even want you to know who they are. So texting is such a great option. I never get any weird text or anything like that. I only get people who are interested in the business. So if you haven't started doing this, I'm telling you, it'll change your business. But putting this call to action at the end of every business post is my recommendation, hands down. I like to use words like change, ready, opportunity, solution. I feel like I probably use a couple more, but those are the main ones. And I mix it up depending on what the post, how the rest of the post kind of flowed. And that also is nice, kind of mixing the words up, because then when someone texts me, I know what post caught their attention, which is just good feedback for me. And it kind of tells me a little bit about them right off the bat, because I know what post it was that drew them in. Okay, so business posts, they can be something short like that. They can be something a little bit more in depth. So I'm going to show you guys an example of one that's a little bit longer. So last night on Instagram, I did one just saying that I have new friends and followers. So I want to introduce myself. So this was just literally, I do this actually probably like once a month because I'm always growing my network. So there's always new people seeing my stuff. But this is just me literally just telling my story, opening up with my audience, being vulnerable, and then quickly transitioning into what the business has done for me. And then at the end, again, giving them that call to action. I'm only ever one word away, message or text opportunity too. So that is just an example of a longer post. Let me give you one more example. This one was just a picture of me and Adeline. I still remember the days I prayed for the things I have now. And then I went into, you know, just a few things about what the business has done for me. And then at the end, same thing. I'd love to help you the way someone helped me. If you have a smartphone and are coachable, I'd love to talk to you. Text opportunity to get all your questions answered. So again, just anything that you can do to plug the business. It can be longer like that. It can be shorter. Sometimes, I don't know where the latest post I did is, but I have a post on here somewhere. Sometimes I'll do something just really general that just says, never in a million years did I dream that I could play with my kids at the park and bring in an income off my smartphone at the same time, or sit by the pool and bring in income off my smartphone at the same time, something like that. And then I'll say, but that's the beauty of 2019 and fresh opportunities. I have 5 spots open to work off your smartphone with me, message or text opportunity too. You see what I'm saying? So it can be short. It doesn't even have to be long, but you want to make sure at least once a day, if not more, you are plugging the business in some form or fashion with a call to action at the end. One piece of advice I heard early on in the business was that you should be telling your story minimum 10 times a day. What that means is you should be enough conversations plus posts like this that coming out of your mouth at least 10 times. So that is something I would challenge each of you guys. It's helped me so much. So if it's a day I'm having less conversations, what am I doing? I'm posting more that day. I'm going to get my story up 2 or 3 times. And you guys will notice some days I put my story up more often than others. In fact, I think that was yesterday, maybe actually, or maybe Friday. Friday, you guys see I did 2 story posts back to back. I did one at 8:40 p.m. with a call to action, and I did one at 5:48 p.m. with a call to action. So like some days I post my story more. If I'm in less conversations, then I'm going to post it more. Or if I just have something on my heart that I really want to share, I'm going to post it more. I'm not going to hold back and save it for another day. I'm going to get it up. That's always served me well. But again, just one consistent thing I want you to notice is that there's always really good spacing. The paragraphs are broken up. It's easy to read. There's an appropriate amount of emojis, but not too many. And there's always a call to action. If you have a little quote you want to put at the end after your call to action, you can do that. I find that to be effective. Okay, moving on. Product posts, one thing I wanted to share is that in addition to doing before and afters, share your own results, no matter where you're at in your journey. Like I literally, guys, will have Zach just take a picture of me, and this is an easy product post that gets me a lot of customers whenever I do anything to do with myself, because people are inspired by your own progress, even if you're not where you want to be. This is case in point because I'm sharing before and afters of myself last summer versus now, which obviously I've made a lot of progress. But last summer, just sharing pictures of myself signed me customers. But like this summer, I'm signing customers by showing the progress. Do you guys see what I'm saying? People are always inspired by your own progress. So no matter where you're at, own where you are in the journey and share the message of keeping things simple. Share the message of progress over perfection. That is a message that our society is like desperately clinging to, and they want to hear more people be bold about. And anytime you can just be vulnerable and share where you're at, you're going to see so much fruit from that. So one thing that I love doing, mixing it up instead of before and afters, is just a picture of myself and then just being really real. So I'm just going to let you guys see this one. I'm going to keep it up long enough so it shows on the recording. But it just says, I have 5 kids and I have one thing to say: it feels good to feel good. Change isn't always easy, but it can be simple. I used to be so tired, had zero energy, and put myself last. So notice what I did here. I was super relatable. How many people in our society are tired? How many people have no energy? How many people feel like they're running on fumes because they're always putting themselves last? They're always giving to their kids, giving to their spouse, giving to their work, but they don't take care of themselves. That's a message people can relate to. It doesn't have to, your post doesn't have to look exactly like my post does, but putting something that people can relate to is key. And then I go into the solution. A couple plant-based supplements incorporated into my routine, paired with a relentless commitment to drinking more water than I ever had, changed it all for me. That immediately catches people's eye because they're like, okay, she didn't do anything crazy. She wasn't running 18 miles a day. She literally just upped her water and had some supplements. I could do that too. And then I go into how I feel now. I've never felt better, never felt more alive, and I'm committed to getting better and better every day. Again, that's teaching that message of progress over perfection, which is what I want all my posts. I want it to come across loud and clear. I don't ever want anyone to look at me and think, oh, well, I can't be like her. I want them to look at me and be like, oh, she's clearly committed to being her best, not anybody else's best. So I encourage you, if you're kind of like confused on what message you want to share, that's a safe message for anyone. Anyone can get behind that message, and it's something that you'll find your audience latches onto. Obviously, if you're someone who does run, you are someone who has things you're really passionate about, be bold about that too. Don't be afraid to share that, because you're going to have an audience that latches onto that. But I'm just saying, for me, I find huge success just with the message of simplicity. And then again, just going into the last part about it, I transitioned to being inspirational. So I've told them how much better I feel. And then I'm going into just something, a line or a phrase that I want to inspire them with. So wherever you've been hanging out, you don't have to stay there. Notice appropriate parts of my post that I'm capitalizing. It's things that I really want them to see. So I capitalize feel good at the top. I capitalize you don't have to stay there. And then at the last paragraph, simple. I capitalize anything that I really want them to see. And I want them to really I just want it to get through to them. Take a step, make a change, watch the magic that begins to happen when you stick it out. My best secret is keeping things simple. And I've got exactly what you need to do that. Drop an emoji below if you'd like info on what has helped this busy mom of 5 make a change that lasts. I can't wait to help you be your best. So this is kind of where owning your journey and owning wherever you're at comes into play. I've got 5 kids, so that's an easy plug. Say, what's this mom of 5? Maybe you're an empty nester, your kids are out of the house. Then say something about that. Like, this is what's helped me in this stage of my life feel greater than I've ever felt. Maybe you're a brand new mom, you're postpartum. Say this, if you'd like info on what has helped this new mom bounce back and feel better than she's ever felt. You know, just something, it can be, this is something that applies no matter who you are, where you're at, you can make it your own. But that's what people are going to latch onto and relate to. Also, one thing I wanted to say real quick, I want to go back to my before and after. This was something that I did not, it wasn't even I didn't even think about it. I was going back in my camera roll looking for something from a long time ago. And I found this picture on the left. It was 8 months ago. And I just noticed, because Zach had just taken the picture on the right a few days ago, or a few days before this post. And so I looked at it and I was like, holy cow, man, I've made a lot of progress in 8 months. I didn't even realize it. This wasn't I didn't take the picture on the left with the purpose of it being for before and after. Do you guys see what I'm saying? I just happened to notice it and notice that I'd come a long way without realizing it. That's why photos are so important. And so I favorited it so I could find it again. So I have to scroll all the way back, and then I found the new one, favorited it, and then I put them in a collage. So I encourage you, go back through your pictures. If you know for a fact you've been working on yourself and since you've been in the business, and you've, you already know you feel better, you look better. Maybe you haven't actually, you didn't realize it just like I didn't realize it because you haven't compared them. I encourage you to go back and find an old picture from 6 months ago and just put them side by side, because even a change that is seemingly small you would be surprised how much it inspires people. And so that's an easy way to share your own personal results, even if you didn't take formal pictures of like your midsection or your clothes off or something. You know, I'm kind of the worst about before and afters. Like when I do the cleanse and stuff, I never remember to take pictures of the scale. I never remember any of that. But these pictures have gotten a lot of customers for me. And it wasn't even anything that was premeditated. So I encourage you to get creative and just go back and find some old pictures. Face before and afters are huge. Anytime you get a picture of your face from like before you've lost some weight and then compare that with now, that always inspires people. Okay. One thing I wanted to share too about posting is there's certain things that I will share on Facebook that I won't share on Instagram. So for example, like Instagram has more of a theme, whereas your Facebook doesn't have to have as strict of a theme. The way Instagram is formatted is it's all about pictures, it's all about color schemes. And so like anything I put on my Instagram has my preset on it. And then certain things on Instagram I do archive. So like before and afters, I archive 24 hours later, except my own, but other before and afters I archive. If I do the work from home position filled, which I'm going to go into that in a second, I archive that. But with Facebook, there's certain things that I'll post that I wouldn't post on Instagram. So like I did this post about Mark's award, and I just did a screenshot of him and Cindy giving the check to the Pediatric Cancer Society. I can't remember which one it was specifically. And then I found a picture of us at conference with them. And so I put those side by side. That wasn't something that I would have necessarily done on Instagram though. Instead, for Instagram, I just put it in my story, because as you guys can see, like the colors are a lot different and it just didn't fit the flow of my Instagram. So I put it in my Instagram story. So that's just kind of an example. If I know some of you have asked how do you decide like what to put on what platform? Most things I put on both platforms, but certain things like this that just look different, I'm not going to. Mary asked in the chat, how do we do a preset? That is in Lightroom, Mary. Lightroom is an app I use to edit my photos. And it's a free app, but you can have a preset that you use in the app. You can Google Lightroom presets and find one that you really like and then use it on all your photos. So they all look consistent. Okay, the next thing I wanted to go over with your photos is that, or with posting, I guess, is that you can also do pictures of products. But when we do pictures of products, we just want to make sure it's as bright as we possibly can make it. We want to make sure that it's a good layout, like the background is nice. And I'm going to get into a little hack for that in a second in case you ever take a good picture, but the background's not nice. So with me, I love going outside. I love natural light. This was a picture of coffee with just my kids in the background. This was just taken with my iPhone in portrait mode. I didn't use a special camera or anything. But one thing that I wanted to show you guys is that if you ever do take a picture that is a really good photo, but there's something in the background that you're like, man, I wish that wasn't in the background, you can use the app Retouch. And what Retouch does is it allows you to delete stuff out of the background. Let me see if I can find a good example for you guys. You know what, I'll just use this. I had printed this off for my dream board. I'm gonna use the quick repair feature. So this works if it's like a picture of a living room and you have an ugly cord in the background. I just don't have a good picture. But see how I'm gonna go over the A? Just completely removes it. So that works with any photo and it looks natural. So, you know, I really wanna find a better photo to show you guys, hold on. Let's see. I can't find one in the next couple scrolls. We'll just give it up. Oh, you know what? This one might work. Okay. So Adeline got in Dove soap. Okay. So see how we have something on the stairs. Let me try this. Okay. That didn't actually work as well as I wanted because there was something above it, but you guys get, okay, there. You guys see how I removed it? Both socks. There was socks on the stairs and I just went over them and took them off. Usually it looks even cleaner than that. Like if you, like let's say on the tile over here, there was a toy, I could completely remove it off the tile. Like it was never there. Now, I don't really care about with toys and stuff, but it's really nice with like, if you have a really ugly cord on your living room wall or something that you're like, that doesn't need to be there. You can remove it and it makes the picture look so much cleaner. So this is an app called Retouch. This is what it looks like right here, Retouch. It's, I think, $1.99 one-time fee, no monthly fee or anything. But that's a great tool if maybe you're feeling like that's what's holding you back from getting the pictures you want. Yeah, Amanda just said it works great with power lines. It seriously is amazing if ever you have a photo that you're like, okay, this is a perfect photo, but I just wish this one thing. Yeah, she said trash cans, etc. Anything you would want to remove from the picture, it's great for. You also can use the blemish remover tool. If you ever take a photo of you and maybe you just have like a dark sunspot on your face, or you have just a pimple you wish wasn't there, you can literally use blemish remover and touch it, and it immediately just pulls it off without it looking like you edited anything. I actually prefer this over a lot of face editing apps just because it removes them seamlessly instead of like blurring everything, if that makes sense. Okay, so going back to Facebook. So anyways, product posts are huge. Anything that you have on hand, obviously if you're watching this and you're new and you don't have a lot of product on hand, don't worry. You can use any of the before and afters that we have in our team page, any that you see any of your leaders post, you can use. We company-wide have a lot of pictures in our stock of before and after, so you always have stuff you can use. But if you have product on hand, don't miss an opportunity to take a picture of your product on hand. I love taking a picture just of like my shake, my coffee, my collagen, anything like that, for both my story and for my feed. Okay. One thing too that I wanted to say is whenever if you do have an iPhone and you have portrait mode, going outside, like right at like, not when the sun's going down, obviously, but like that hour or so before the sun's going down, you get really, really good pictures on portrait mode. So if you have an iPhone and you can do this, like pick a night where your husband goes outside with you or your friend or whoever, and take some picture of you and your kids, take some pictures of just your kids, because that just makes a great stock to have for good business posts. This photo that you guys see right here, plus, where's the other one? This one, we're taken on the exact same day, both around like, I think like 7 o'clock or something. That's just really good lighting to get a lot of good quality business posts that'll catch people's eye. So I recommend just taking a day that you get some good photos. And then, okay, going into the next thing, let me go over to Instagram. All right, so again, I don't want Instagram to be too repetitive because I know we already talked about this a lot, but on Instagram, you want just like a common theme. You want the colors to flow. And again, this is where your preset's gonna come in handy, because your preset is your preset, and it might look different than mine, but the point is that they all look the same. But one thing with posting on Instagram is you just want there to be a good balance of what kinds of pictures you're doing. So you'll notice I try not to put my face in there too much. Try not to do too many coffee cups, too many pictures of my kids. I try to do like a pretty good balance. So like you've got me, you've got Silas, you've got a group photo, and then I have coffee over here, but I don't do coffee again till up here. Don't think too hard about this. It becomes more natural the more you're posting, but just getting into a routine where you're having a lot of variety is huge. So kind of what helps me post, and some of you are wired the same way, so this will help you. Some of you, this may not help you at all, but the point is like figure out a way that you can get in a good routine for you. What helps me is I will look at my Instagram and I will see what I need more of. So right now, if I'm looking at what I need for my next post, I know I don't need anything else of me. There's 3 pictures of me in a row. Now, the reason I did 3 in a row is they're totally different angles. Like one's far away with my car, one's up close, one's an indirect photo of me. But I know the next photo I do, I need a picture of my kids or something like that. And I kind of always just look at what's going to be above what. So I know this picture of me in the black sweatshirt is going to be down here on the left, right here. It'll be in that place. And so I kind of look like, okay, what's going to look good above that? What do I need? And that just helps me really quickly. Okay, I need one of my kids, and I'll go outside and take one of my kids. So again, I know some of you aren't wired that exact same way. That might not be helpful, but for me, that makes it to where it's easy to think of what I need next and not have to like sit there and stew over what kind of post to do. And then I'll just take one of my kids and write a really good business post. I did a product post last, that's what this is. And so I'll just do one of my kids and write a business post, and then boom, done. So I encourage you, just like figure out a groove you can get in that's going to help you. Maybe it's that, maybe it's something different. But the main things is having a product post every single day, at least 1 product post, at least 1 business post, and at least 1 lifestyle post. If you can do more, then perfect. I try to go between 3 and 6 posts a day. So I like to do inspirational, product, lifestyle, business on a perfect day. And then if, like I said, if it's not a perfect day and I don't get 6, I'm just still going to make sure that if nothing else, I've got the lifestyle, the business, and the product. That's a great rule of thumb. If you're trying to keep it simple, is just at least do those 3. Okay. So the next thing that I wanted to go over is, okay, so on Facebook, you can do, and again, Facebook rewards you for using their features. So you can do side-by-side photos. Like this is not a collage, this is actually 2 separate photos. And you can do multiples. It doesn't just have to be 2 posts. And then Instagram, you can do the same thing, only they're swiping to see them. And so what I like to do on Facebook is if ever I do take photos like this, where I have several different good shots, I'll put them side by side or do them in a collage where it's, I'm going to show you guys what I mean by collage. Hold on. Okay. So I wouldn't post all of these. This isn't actually what I mean, but like, see if you click multiple, like you click 4, it puts them. So you want to make sure your first one is the best one, because that's going to be your biggest one, and then the other ones beside it. And then same thing for Instagram. When you go over there, you just want to make sure your first one is the cover photo. It's the one that you like the best. So see, for this one, that was the one that I wanted everyone to see first. And then they swipe right and they see the next one. So don't be afraid to sometimes mix it up and do more photos than just one, especially if you took a lot and they were all really good and you're wondering which one to do. This is a great option. Because it just shows people more of your life. And the more you can show people of your life, the better. People are nosy, they want to see into your life. So like, let them see as much as you've got. Okay, and then also what I was saying about selecting which ones to select. So for Facebook, if I recall right, for these 3, it wasn't going to, let me go back. It wasn't going to position them right. Like the shape of the picture or something, it only look good if I do 2. So these are things you become more second nature as you go, but play around with it and like play with the layout before you post it to make sure it's like the most appealing to the eye. And this is also just another example of just a lifestyle post, but still kind of plugged the business at the same time, very indirectly. Anytime I can say anything about, I'm so thankful this gets to be our life, or I'm so thankful because I work off my smartphone, this is my reality. Anytime I can say anything like that, I'm going to, because it's, even if it's not a full out business post with a call to action at the end, it's a plug for what you're doing. It gets people's eyes locked onto your page. And then when you do make that business post later that night, they're going to see it and they're going to be that much more likely to stop and read it. So I recommend doing that anytime, any chance that you can. One thing that helps me a lot, I mentioned with my quotes in the beginning, I usually get them from my self-development that morning. I have a quote folder in my notes, and whatever book I'm listening to, so like right now I'm listening to the book Dare to Lead. While I'm listening to it on Audible, I will literally just write down quotes from it. And so that way, if I need a post later and I don't know exactly what I'm going to say, I can take inspiration from this, or I can make a post from it. Like you guys see this quote right here, if you're not in the arena, I made a post from that yesterday and that was a huge hit. So that's like, sometimes there's something longer you get from your self-development that actually makes a full post for you. Sometimes it's just a quote you want to put, but I like to separate them from like what I'm listening to. I listen to Stephen Furtick, so I've got like quotes from all his sermons. These make great morning posts on the colored background like we were talking about. And so even if it's not something I'm going to post that same day, I'll just still go ahead and write it down, because if I have that day that I'm needing fresh inspiration, I can go to these. So those of you that are, do a lot of self-development, which hopefully is everyone, make these folders on your iPhone notes or your Android notes, because you'll find that really saves you on days when maybe you're feeling just not as sharp, or you feel like you have a little bit of a brain fog, or your day's just crazy. And it's nice to go back and look on, if you're talking to someone on your team later, you're doing a coaching call, it definitely serves dual purpose, because you can go down and read them something. So that's what I like to do. And then if I write a business post that is really, really good, that I know I'm going to want to reuse, I have a folder that says business posts, and I will put it in there to use later. So I won't use it for a while and see they're dated, which makes it nice. But you guys can see, like, I have posts from like 2017 in here, 2018. And so some of these, like if I ever had a day that I was in the middle of something, or like, let's say we had a family emergency or something, and I just couldn't think straight, I wasn't in my best frame of mind, I can go back here and I can find a post that I did before, and I can copy it and use it again, because chances are if I did it in July of 2018, it's now June of 2019, I have so many new friends, so many new followers, And the friends I did have back then aren't gonna remember that I did that. So that's a just little hack for you guys for posting. And I do the same thing with product posts. I made this post about BFF a few days ago, and like I knew this would be a perfect post to use later, or to even share with a new person on my team who maybe needed a good post. I could send it to them. And so anytime I make a post that I know I want to reuse, and then along those lines, you can share this with your team by going like this and then texting it. So like, let's say you have a newbie and they're like, hey, do you have a hair, skin, and nail post example for me? And you have hair, skin, and nail post saved. You can literally just go like that and text it to them really quickly. So I like to do that with posts I make for before and afters, just any kind of post I do. So that's an example. So I've got the quotes, I've got product posts, business posts, and then I keep all my host to post up in here too. This isn't really what this Zoom's about, but while I'm showing you guys, I keep everything for host to post here in here, so it's easy to copy and paste. And then I keep a general folder. This is just me. This is the way my brain works. But I keep a general folder where I write my posts every night, because guys, if you ever write a post in Facebook and Facebook fritzes on you and shuts down and you lose your whole post, you'll know why this is necessary. But I type my posts in here before I post to Facebook, and then I just copy it and paste it into Facebook. And then that way too, if anything happens, I've got it there. And then any that are really good, I'll just transfer over to that business post folder to save. So that's just something that helps me with posting and just keeping on a good schedule, keeping on a good routine. Let's see, what else did I want to share? That is so weird. Do you guys see how my iPhone says it's 9:41? I don't know if you guys can see that at the top. It says 9:41. That's really weird. It's definitely not 9. Okay. All right, so the other thing that I wanted to go over before we wrap this up and see if you guys have any questions. And by the way, if you guys have any questions, please put them in the chat. Chances are someone has the same question, so don't be shy. But the other thing I wanted to go over with posting is stories real quickly. So I'm going to show you guys my archive stories just to kind of give you guys an example of like what I like to do. I pretty much put all my posts that were pictures taken that day. So if I use a picture that I took a week ago, I'm not going to put that on my story. But if it's a picture I took that day that I made a post of, I'm going to put it in my story. And then also any extras. So like, for example, I did a picture of Adeline and Savannah yesterday, but I had another one that was cute that was just Adeline. So like, I'll put that in my story. I went to Starbucks, was listening to my audiobook, put that in my story. I like to give as much behind the scenes things as I can possibly do into my stories, because this is where people really get to know you. So today I had a picture of Adeline sleeping. That was not a post. Silas got in chocolate greens all over his face. That was not a post. And then I even did a little video of him. Anytime you can do a video, because I'm telling you, people love that. And then like at night, if I'm having, like that was immunity, if I have collagen at night, I know it's up here somewhere. I'll put that in my story. So anything you can put in your story, put in your story. You honestly cannot put too much in your story. The more, the better. And just take it from someone who wasn't used to doing stories for a really long time. The more you put stuff in your stories, the more it'll become second nature to you. But it's one of those things, just like with posting, it's not ever going to feel natural if you don't do it. Okay, here's what I wanted to show you guys. So for product posts in your stories, what I have found is really, really effective is doing a picture of the product when you can, and just saying something really simple. You guys will see this. I like to call collagen my beauty drink, because that people don't know what it is, and so that draws them in. So I say this beauty drink is just as much a part of my skincare and beauty routine as all my serums and makeup. Next one, I shared my own before and after. So if you have your own before and after, you can share. This works with coffee and greens. This works with anything, not just collagen. You can share my pictures. You can share any other before and afters that you have. But I said, I mean, seriously, look at what it's done for my fine lines and sunspots. I'm so obsessed. And then the next one, I just shared a little graphic of like the benefits of collagen. And then the next one, I put the picture again. And then I said 5 openings for 40% off, who wants one? And then I give a poll option with 2 variations of yes. Never do a poll that's yes and no. So I just do OMG me and then send me info. And then people vote on your poll. So you guys will see this one in particular had 7 votes. And then what does this do? This gives you 7 people that you have a wide open door to message. So polls are so huge. And you can make product polls so easy just by doing something like I just did. Excuse me, I have hiccups. I also like doing it with coffee and greens and things like that. yeah, here's a coffee one. 8 months of putting me first and working on myself from the inside out. I'm giving 3 friends 40% off my regimen of fat burning coffee and chocolate greens. Click below if you want a spot. Same thing. I almost always do the same poll options. One thing I wanted to show you guys about stories, and if you guys watched Alyssa, she is one of our ambassador upline, and she did a training on stories for all of the company. If you guys watched that, you already know this, but in case someone didn't, one thing that you can do with stories that I absolutely love is you can match the color. So like, let's say, I'm just saying mom of 5, oops, I can't type, guys, sorry. Mom of 5 and I feel great. So then you can hit this little dropper. So first I go like that. I always like to do translucent, that's just me. But then you can hit the dropper and you can move it anywhere to make the color, to match the color of like what you already have in the picture, and then move this where you want it. So I love doing this to make it match and to make it flow. I did not know about this until she shared this in her Zoom, and it has been a game changer for making my stories look cleaner and prettier. So I highly recommend using that feature if you haven't already. And again, you just click that dropper, drag it wherever you want. And this is also, in case you're wondering, how you get like different colors that you don't even see as an option. So for example, if you guys saw in my archive stories how I had, let me find it. See how I have like the purple writing? You can't get that in your options of colors. Like you have to get that from pulling the dropper somewhere. But that popped up somewhere from these colors in my car. That popped as an option. So that's like, there's really cool things that pop up when you do that you wouldn't normally find. I'm trying to see if I can find another. That color pink, like you can't get, that matches Savannah's swimsuit. So definitely use that feature if you haven't already, because it just makes them look so much prettier. Okay. One last example I wanted to share, and then I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up if no one has questions, is sharing just short little business polls in your story. You guys know in Fire Tribe, I shared that example of like telling your story in a longer way in your story with all the different slides. That's a really effective thing to do like once every like week or two. But then if you just need a short one to do real quick, doing like just a picture of you that you like, can be an old picture, can be one that's taken today. And then just saying something really simple and relatable that most people, again, are going to be able to relate to. So for me, I just keep it super simple and say, I used to be the girl who was stressed to the max about money and was always living paycheck to paycheck. That's something most people can say. Most of you on here watching can probably say that. Then the next one says, now I'm the girl who earns a multiple 6-figure income all off my smartphone and gets to help other people live a better life too. Maybe that's not where you're at in the business. So you could just say, now I'm the girl who earns an income all off my smartphone and gets to help other people do the same, or gets to help other people live a better life too. It can be so general. And then the next one, I have 12 openings to work off your smartphone with me. Click an option below and I'll connect with you. And then I have the poll option of, I'm ready to start now, send me info. So this is huge just to get some new potentials really quickly, because it's a short thing that you can do like literally once or twice a week. And then again, I use that dropper to get all these colors. So like different parts of the picture pulled up these different colors, and I just do the colors different every time. So people are realizing as the slide's changing and the colors are popping. Morgan just shared in the chat, the quiz option is fun too. Yeah, I'm glad that you said that, Morgan, because kind of what we were talking about, Facebook rewarding you for using their features, it's the same thing with Instagram. Anytime you use their features, you're gonna be rewarded for it. So click this little emoji at the top, this little sticker, and anytime you can use any of these, use them. So Morgan pointed out the quiz. You've got this little thing over here where people can like drag it to the left or drag it to the right. Anything you want to use is good. I like to tag locations if I'm out somewhere, but anything you use, that just bumps your stories up in higher priority. So don't be afraid to use any of these things, because they'll reward you for it. If you're outside and the weather is amazing, or maybe the weather is really like it's winter time and the weather is really crappy, the weather feature is a great thing to do, and then you can like write something about what you want to say. But again, the more features you use of Facebook's, the more features you use of Instagram, the more they're going to reward you and show your things to more people. And it's the same thing when you make posts on Instagram. So whenever you make a picture, oops, and you right here where it says add location, Instagram is the same thing as Facebook. Whenever you tag a location, two things happen. They reward you for using their feature. You get seen more in the algorithm for it. But then second of all, you now, if you are a public account, it's shown at all of those places as well too. So if someone's looking, like let's say you're at the mall or you tag the movie theater or whatever, it's going to be shown to more people. So anytime you can do that, do that. So, okay. Well, I don't see any questions in the, let me unplug this. Sorry, guys. All right, hold on. Now I can't. There we go. Okay. I was trying to figure out how to get the full screen back up. Okay, I don't see any questions, so we're going to go ahead and wrap up. But I just wanted to make this for you guys really quickly because I know a lot of people have been asking just for an updated posting tip soon. Morgan asked, you link your Instagram and Facebook stories. Yes, I do. So I have my Instagram stories and Facebook linked. If you don't know how to do it, just whenever you swipe left to do your story on Instagram, like I was showing you guys, you click the top left and then you can have it where it auto shares your stories to Facebook. So my Insta stories and Facebook stories are linked, but I don't auto share my post. You don't want to auto share the actual post itself. You just want to post it to Facebook and then copy it and post it to Instagram. But yeah, in general, just getting into a good rhythm that is consistent with your brand that you stick to every day is going to be huge. So have, you know, again, if you want to start your day off with something funny that makes people laugh, then get in the habit of doing that every day. If you want to start off with something inspiring that's going to make people stand up a little taller, hold their head higher, and just smile and feel better that day, then do that and get in the habit of doing that every day. But the main thing with posting is just getting into a pretty consistent routine. So for me, again, this doesn't have to be the same for you, but I have found just doing 3 to 6 posts a day, that's something that I can easily stick to. It holds me to a high standard. So if I'm having a crazy day, I know in my head, I have to at least get 3 posts because that's what I have held myself to this whole time. And so it's one of those things I have found that if we don't hold ourselves to a standard, we'll never fulfill it because we don't have that bar set anywhere. So setting that bar is just, for me, super freeing because it just keeps me on my A game and keeps me doing what I need to do. But yeah, and then 2, you know where you need to fall. If you don't have any goals and you don't have any standards set for yourself, you're just kind of always wandering, trying to figure out what to do. But figure out what your ideal posting looks for you, what the number looks like. So for me, 3 to 6, and then what your flow is going to be. And so just again, a quick recap, my flow is inspirational, lifestyle, product, business. And then of course, if I do more posts, it's just more of the same. So I hope this was helpful. I don't see any more questions, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap up. I know it's dinner time for most of you guys, but I love you guys so much. And if anybody has any questions after the fact, just let me know. I will get this recording uploaded here a little bit to FireTribe. Bye, guys.